What's going on, everyone? Welcome to a new video. I hope you're all good. In this video I'm bringing you some fun battles I did in Halloween Cup featuring Galarian Linoone. The IVs on the one we're using aren't great. It's a 10, 15, 13, rank 837. However, it was the best one I had, so I thought I'd give it a go. I've always wanted to try this out. So it's got an interesting moveset of Snarl, Body Slam and Gunk Shot. It's extremely spammy, and we do have that Poison Nuke for those pesky fairy types. And you best believe we nuke some Azus in this video, so let's get into it. So as you can see, we're running this with Cofagrigus on the lead, and we've got Nidoqueen as the swap. If you want to know the IVs, let me know and I'll leave a pinned comment for them. So a Scrafty or Obstagoon lead for this team is pretty bad, but we did still manage to work our way out of some sticky situations, which I'm sure we'll see later on in the video. So moving on into the commentary now, in this first battle we had Alolan Ninetales on the lead, which was pretty neutral, and as you can see they were just able to win it by that one charm, and neither of us went for a shield. So now we're coming with the Nidoqueen. They've won that swap. Let's see what they want to bring in. They're a little bit slow to come in, and eventually they bring in their own Nidoqueen. So assuming they've got something in the back that doesn't really want to see Nidoqueen, we're just going to stay here. We are the one poison jab ahead of them. We're going to go for that bait, and they did shield it up, so that's great for us. So we're going to match shield now. Even if they do bait us, it doesn't matter because we already baited them. And now we're going to go for another bait now. So expecting they will actually shield this up because they obviously don't want the Nidoqueen to see what they've got in the back. And that's absolutely fine with us. We're just going to match shields once again, and this time they go for the earth power, so that's brilliant for us because now we know they're completely out of energy and we can farm up as much as we possibly can before taking them out. So we're looking in a pretty good position here depending on what they've got in the back. So we go up to a pretty much max energy and throw the earth power, and this will definitely be taking out the opposition Nidoqueens. Let's see what they got. They got Obstagoon in the back, which is terrible for the Linoone because obviously it's going to be double weak to fight in, the same as Obstagoon being that dark and normal typing. So we quickly come in with the Linoone now just before they get to a move. We was kind of hoping that they would throw the Night Slash, but we're just able to get to a Body Slam before they take us out with that Cross Chop, surviving it by 1 HP. And I'm pretty sure we've got a loaded Poison Fang left on the Nidoqueen, and we're just able to take out the Obstagoon with the combination of the two back Pokemon, and the Galarian Linoone just doing enough against its evolved form to take the win there. So rolling on into the next one, we've got Shadow Granbull on the lead, so another neutral lead. They're going to be absolutely tearing into us, but we will be doing some nice amount of damage to them with our Shadow Claw, and luckily we should just be able to outpace them. They do commit a shield on the Shadow Ball. Unfortunately, it did look like they were going to be able to fast move us down before we could get to another move, so we decided to swap into the Nidoqueen and try and snipe them, and they did actually stay in, so that's absolutely fantastic. We've got a nice energy lead. They come in with the Drapion now, and we're going to go for a Poison Fang bait, which is really risky, and they don't take the bait, so that's well played by them. So what we're going to do now, if they've got Aqua Tail, we're looking in a really bad spot as this thing is so spammy. Luckily, they don't have Aqua Tail, so they just throw the Crunch, but 2 moves will be taking us out regardless. So now we go for the Earth Power, and this time they shield it up, so they called our bluff completely on the first one and then called the nuke, so that's really bad for us. Now they go for a Crunch, and we shield it up and swap into the Cofagrigus, just looking to soak some damage up. And they did throw their energy straight away without farming up much else, so that was really good for us, exactly what we wanted. So now we're thinking about what we should come in with. We're going to come in with the Linoone and go for a really ambitious farm down. We're going to be resisting the Crunch, and no doubt they're going to hit us with a Sludge Bomb, as they didn't have Aqua Tail. So yeah, they do hit us with a Sludge Bomb. Does a nice amount of damage, but we are able to farm them down the whole way. And look what they've got in the back. It's the Azu. So we're going to go straight for that Gunk Shot, throwing the trash can at the stupid Water Fairy. And we're actually able to get to another Gunk Shot. This thing charges very, very quickly, but we did have pretty much max energy. And the Linoone taking out the trash. No one wants to see you, Azu. We're sick of you. You've been doing the rounds for way too long. So into the next one we go. We actually had a pretty good lead, which was the Nidoqueen. We're resisting the poison typing as we are Ghost, so they made a swap out into Azu. And what we're doing is quite confusing. We actually stayed and threw a Shadow Ball. I'm not really sure why we didn't swap straight out into our own Nidoqueen. I think this was the early days of me using this team, so I was a little bit slow on the swap, and by that time they'd already built up a ton of energy, and I didn't want to go into Nido because then they could have hit us with 2 Ice Beams. So we waited for them to finally throw some of that energy, and now we're going to come in with a Nido and farm them down the whole way. So that hasn't worked out too bad. We've now got a lot of energy to go against whatever they come in with, and they do come in with the Nidoqueen again. So we go straight for the Earth Power this time, which was obviously not the best call because they did shield it up, and we've wasted that energy now. And now that we've put ourselves behind it in the matchup a little bit. So we're going to shield this up knowing that they're probably going to go for an Earth Power, and then this time we're going to go for the Earth Power again. I thought we were going to bait them, but we just go for the Earth Power, and they let it go through, so that's absolutely brilliant for us. And now they've got a Drapion in the back, so we're going to make a quick swap into the Linoone to catch the Crunch. Hoping this is definitely a Crunch, not an Aqua Tail, and it was the Crunch, so that's perfect for us. and now we're going to build up to a couple of body slams. Now, if they hit us with a sludge bomb, it is going to do a lot of damage to us, but we are hanging on quite nicely. You can see the Linoone is actually pretty tanky considering. So we're comfortably able to survive, and then we're going to go for some more body slam spam. We're living life on the edge here and actually building up to 2 body slams. If they had just thrown their energy there, they could have taken us out. So that was very risky, but we're able to get up to that second body slam, and this should be taking them out. You can see it does quite a lot of damage as we're getting the stab there, and the Linoone takes the win. So that was a nice little showcase of the bulk and the spamminess of this thing. So I think it's ranked about 80th in the Halloween Cup. It's quite an interesting pick for sure. So moving on into the next one, we had Umbreon on the lead, which was terrible for the Cofagrigus, as we cannot hit them with anything but resisted damage. So we went into the Nidoqueen and they stayed here, which is perfect for us. And we've just gone for the Earth Power. So because this thing is so bulky, it's probably going to take like 4 Poison Fangs for us to take it out. So we just go for the Earth Powers, hoping that 2 of them will actually take out the Umbreon. We're actually just going to go for a Poison Fang bait here now, but unfortunately they let it go through, so that's a good call by them, and unfortunate for us because we really could have done with taking a shield. We're really hoping we can now farm them down with Poison Jabs, and we're just able to do that, so that is a saving grace of that matchup. And now they bring in Azu, so pretty good here because we've got the back-to-back Poison Jabs. Oh no, we couldn't get to the second one, so I'm lying there. So now we're going to bring in that Cofagrigus because obviously a play rough from this thing will be taking out the Linoone. Well, it won't be taking it out, but we'll be getting it quite low. So we come in with the Cofagrigus and we're just going to go for that Shadow Ball. Now, I was saying that they probably did have another answer to Cofagrigus in the back, so this could potentially constitute that, as it's a pretty decent neutral matchup. We all know that Azu is so bulky if it is that XL version, which most people have got by this point. So we did shield up that Ice Beam as we want to threaten the last shield with this Shadow Ball, and they do give that up, so that's perfect. Now what we did is try to swap out and catch the Ice Beam on the Linoone, but unfortunately they built up some more energy, which was the risk, and now they throw that play rough. As you can see, probably does about 3/4 of the health, and now they come in with their own Nidoqueen. So this isn't looking great. If we had a little bit more health or a little bit more energy, maybe we could pull it out. Body slams are going to do a lot of damage here, but I'm not sure we're going to be able to take Nidoqueen out before they can take us out. And they do Poison Jab us down before, and they're going to be able to throw a Poison Jab, even though it's resisted, Poison Fang, and they're going to take the win there. And that was unlucky. We wasn't quite able to maneuver out of that sticky lead that we had, and unfortunately that missed swap was really what cost us in the end. So into the next one, had Azu on the lead, and they swapped out straight away, which is really interesting, into a Charmer, and we come straight in with the Nidoqueen, and we're just going to absolutely decimate this thing. They let the Poison Fang go through, and we just Poison Jab down, and they're like, well, what have I just done there? So they back out. I'm not sure if that was a miss swap, but they should have just stayed in. I'm not sure why they swapped out. The Cofagrigus Azu match is completely neutral. No need to swap out there at all. Into the next battle, and we had a decent lead with the Nidoqueen, and my opponent made a perfect swap out onto the Umbreon and caught the Psychic, which is double resisted, and then we tried to make a swap out into the Linoone and catch the Foul Play, but unfortunately they're holding on to the energy, so they completely done us there. And I did actually go one Shadow Claw over the Psychic before I threw it, so they still managed to make that catch. They must actually be psychic themselves. Nothing tilts me more than when you over farm and the opponent still makes the catch. It's really, really irritating, but you know, got to give them credit. So we built up as much energy as we could against the Umbreon, and we're just going to unleash the body slams onto them. They go for a foul play, which we were counting, so we knew we could let that go through, and now we're just going to try and get them as low as we possibly can. The body slam damage is quite nice off this thing, I've got to say, even against the tanky Umbreon. They did make a catch into Nidoqueen, which is fine. As you can see, we did chunk them quite nicely once again. But in all honesty, we could have done with saving that body slam for later on down the line. We kind of just threw it because we were scared of them sniping us quickly, because we're going to be able to take this Nidoqueen out with the Psychic anyway. They chose not to shield that one up. So let's see what they want to bring in, expecting them to come back in with the Umbreon, but they actually come in with a Quillfish instead, so that's not too bad for us. We're going to be able to tank an Aqua Tail, and then we'll be able to threaten them with that Psychic. And they're not going to be able to farm us down as well with the Poison Sting, so they're going to be forced to throw the energy before we can actually get to another move. So let's see what they want to do. Just before we get to another move, they actually come in with the Umbreon and snipe us, so that's well played by them, but now they've just given the Nidoqueen some more farm. But this is still going to be a really hard one to get the win out of, so let's see what happens. They've still got that Quillfish with a ton of energy, so we swap into the Linoone as soon as they come in with it, hoping that they were going to throw straight away, which they did. So we've wasted one of their charge moves, but they've definitely got another one built up, which we're going to let go through. It's going to do a lot of damage, and then we get a ton of lag at the absolute worst moment, exactly what you expect to see by now. So we go for that first Poison Fang. Are they going to shield this up, thinking that it's the Hail Mary Earth Power? They do shield it up, so another Poison Fang is definitely going to be taking them out from this range, and it looks like we have managed to pull out the win from a really, really tough spot. I didn't think we were going to win that one at all, so GG to my opponent. That was pretty harsh on them. But you win some, you lose some, bruv. So into the next one, and let's see what we got on the lead. It's a Drapion this time, so that's not good for the Cofagrigus at all. We need to make a swap out, but we are staying in, and we get hit with an extreme ton of lag. So this is not good, but then we make a swap out eventually into Nidoqueen and catch a potential crunch. We could have gone for Linoone, but we don't want to get that locked against a counter user because it's just going to be game over from there. So we're just going to go into this Nidoqueen, see if we can get a shield out of the Drapion. They do actually have Aqua Tail, so that's not the best for us, but luckily we were able to survive that. So now we go for the Poison Fang, and they commit that shield, so that's brilliant for us. Going to work our way back up to an Earth Power, and they actually catch the Earth Power on an Umbreon. So really interesting by my opponent, but we'll do that extra damage. That's absolutely fine. We are still switch locked here, so we're just going to go for the Poison Fang and debuff the Umbreon before we come in with no doubt the Linoone, I probably imagine. And then let's see, we're actually going to come in with the Cofagrigus and go for a Shadow Ball because they're debuffed. This will still do quite a lot of damage, and then we actually swap out into the Linoone and catch the Foul Play, so that was absolutely brilliant. And now we're going to be able to farm down the Umbreon with the Snarls that are resisted, so we should be able to get a decent amount of energy. And let's see if we can pull it out the bag from here. They still got that Drapion left in the back, and what is their last Pokemon? It is the Azu. So did they not know about the Gunk Shot? Let's see if they know. Do they want to commit a shield? They don't commit the shield, and they get absolutely gunked. But as you can see, where we're not getting stabbed, and Azumarill is so tanky, they don't actually go into the red with that massive hard-hitting Gunk Shot. So this time we're going to build up to another one and go for a Body Slam bait. Really hoping that they shield this up, but they let it go through, which is quite interesting. Now we make a swap into Cofagrigus, so we can try and snipe them down, but they did swap out, and now they're going to hit us with a crunch, but we should be able to threaten them with a Shadow Ball. Hopefully we can get that last shield out of them, and then we should be able to sweep up with the Linoone. They do shield it up, so that's brilliant. They're not going to be able to Poison Sting us down, so they're forced to throw their energy once again. And they'll definitely be taking us out with an Aqua Tail this time, and we've got the Body Slam loaded on the Linoone, and I'm pretty sure from this range this is going to KO the Drapion, and then we've still got the Azu, but we just snarl them down, and once again taking the win with the Dark Raccoon in the back there. The Linoone actually pretty decent, I've got to admit. So into the next one, and then we had a pretty good lead. It was Golurk, something a bit spicy there. Good for the Cofagrigus. They made a swap out into Umbreon, so we come in with the Nidoqueen, and that's just mainly because we don't really want to see the Golurk with the Nidoqueen, so we might as well get it out of the way. So we go for an Earth Power now. I'm not expecting the Umbreon to shield up anything, and now we're just going to look to build up to another one. But the Umbreon probably will be able to outpace us to a third move, so we're going to have to make a call whether we want to shield this up. We could just let it go down, but to be honest, we're going to have a hard time farming this down with either of the other two Pokemon. So what we do is we choose to shield it up, and then we're going to build up as much energy as we can and look to farm them down the whole way. But they come in with a Golurk and snipe us with a Mud Slap, so that was really well played by them. We come in with the Cofagrigus, and then we actually swap out and catch the Shadow Punch on the Linoone. So look at how much damage this does. Absolutely nothing. So now we're looking at a nice spot. We're looking at the snarl damage, thinking we could probably snarl this down the whole way. Thinking we can easily let this go through. It's probably going to be a ground move. And they hit us with a Dynamic Punch, completely spacing the fact that it has access to Dynamic Punch, double super effective. The Ghost type obliterating the Dark type with a fighting move. How funny. So now they've got a Quillfish in the back, and we're looking absolutely screwed because we do not have the option to bait. All of our moves are going to take so much energy to get up to, and this thing is so spammy, it's crazy. The Aqua Tails are definitely going to be taking us out before we can get up to another move, so we just go for this Psychic here, but we're thinking this is definitely done, but they let it go through, but they still have the Umbreon in the back, so they knew what they were doing there. They were just trolling us, and they take the win, and well played by my opponent. That was quite a hard one, but that Dynamic Punch and not knowing the moves completely screwed me there. So it shows always know your moves, kids, even the spice. Next challenger enters the fray with their Ariados, stays in and goes for a lunge. Really confused why they're not swapping out. Tells me they may actually be weak to Cofagrigus in the back. Not sure what they are doing, but we're going to go for a Psychic, which they shield up. Now we get a load of lag. I didn't realise how much lag I experienced during this session, but now looking back at it, it was pretty horrendous. They go for another lunge, and we're going to go for another Psychic. Even though they've debuffed us, this is still going to do a ton of damage, and they know that. They shield up again. So absolute madness. They come in with Trevenant, looking to snipe us before we get off any more attacks, but we're just going to go for a Shadow Ball anyway. Double debuff, doesn't matter. Now we're going to come in with Linoone and look to snarl them down the whole way. So the Cofagrigus really going rampant there, and we managed to save a little bit of life on it before they took us out. And now they come in with an Azumarill, so this has been an absolute mauling. We're going to go for that Gunk Shot, do a nice big chunk of the Azu's health, and this should be quite a routine win from here. Now, we could actually just let this go down and then come in with the Nidoqueen and tidy things up pretty easy. But this is a Linoone video, so we choose to shield that up. And then they make a swap into Ariados and they catch us off guard, go for a lunge. So we're committing both our shields now. And we did, unfortunately, already hit the gunk shot. So we're going to see how much a debuff gunk shot does against that. Not very effective. And now we're going to make a swap out into Nidoqueen. And we could easily just take this Azu out with a Poison Fang, but for laughs we just say, you know what, why don't you just take us out with a nice Hydro Pump? I needed a shower anyway. The Linoone comes back in and said, oh, what, you want some more gunk? I heard that you fairies like a little bit of gunk on your face, so have a little bit more, son. Complete and total overkill, but you love to see it, don't you? So once again, taking the win with the Linoone, and we go marching on into the next one. So I did have a really bad first set with this team. I went 0-5, but then the remaining 4 sets I did actually do really well with, and nearly every single one of those games we did lead Obstagoon or Scrafty. So into this one, we've got Galvantula, so that's pretty good for the Cofagrigus. They now made a swap out into the Umbreon, so we counted it up to the 4 Snarls that it takes for Foul Player, made a swap out into the Linoone once again and caught the not very effective Dark move. We did also sneak through a Snarl, so that's happy days as well. They go for a last resort, which does a nice chunk, but we should be able to tank another one just about. Now we're going to hit them with body slams back to back to back. We build up to another 2 and then unleash the second body slam on them, starting to chunk away at this complete tank. And we go for another one. They did sneak through a Snarl themselves there, so we're even on the sneak throughs. And we are getting them into the red. Can we tank a last result here, or are they going for the foul play? They do go for a last result. We decide to shield it up, so a very interesting shield there. And then they make an unfull swap into the Galvantula, which couldn't be any better for us because we have Nidoqueen, which is going to be resisting both of the moves. And obviously the electric, look at the Volt Switch is doing absolutely nothing to Nidoqueen as it is double resisted. So they hit us with another lunge, which is completely fine with us. We have been double debuffed, but we have a lot of energy to go, and we're going to be able to debuff whatever comes in with the Poison Fangs, but it is actually an Azu, so really interesting that the opponent came in with that. We are double debuffed, so these aren't doing anywhere near as much as what they usually would, but they are still going to add up considering that we're debuffing them. So I'm expecting at one point they are going to shield one of these up, but they let the next one go through as well. So we make a swap out into the Cofagrigus where we have a lot of energy stored, and we go for that Shadow Ball, which is definitely going to be getting a shield out of them because they don't want to go down. And then we had a little bit of lag and we were able to get up to another one, but we're actually going to make a big call to let this go through, and it was just an Ice Beam, but then they sniped us, so that was very cheeky by them. Does give us the opportunity to come in with Nidoqueen and farm up a ton more energy, get to another Poison Fang, which they're going to definitely commit their last shield on the Azu, I would imagine. And then we're going to come back in with the Linoone. You know what time it is. Once again, overkill gunk shot. This thing really hates Azus. Get out. And my opponent actually backed out before the final blow could be dealt. Fair play, I probably would have done the same. So rolling on into the next one, we've got Wormadam Trash on the lead. So pretty decent lead actually for the Cofagrigus here. We're going to be able to get to the Shadow Ball fairly quickly. It won't KO though, as Wormadam is quite tanky. They do choose to shield it up, which is fine. We're just going to match the shields here because we can definitely get to a Shadow Ball before they get to another Iron Head. Maybe thinking they're going to swap out at one point. So we do over farm and we're counting the moves and we throw the Shadow Ball right in line with them. See if they want to commit their second shield, and they do actually commit it. So once again, we will match shields. We know we've got the opportunity to over farm here by some bit and actually just KO them with the Shadow Ball. Again, expecting they're going to try and make a swap, and they do eventually do it. And it's actually a Quillfish, and they did not respect the fact that we can have Psychic on the Cofagrigus. Bosh! Take that, Quillfish. Almost one-shots. We make a swap into the Linoone to soak up this Aqua Towel and get ahead on energy for whatever is in the back. And we've still got the Nidoqueen there, so let's see what they want to bring in. The Linoone waiting patiently there, ready to munch whatever it is, and it's another Azumarill, so you know what's going to happen. The gunk shot is going to land once again, but this time, are they going to be able to get to a move and take us out? The shields are down, and we're not quite able to make it to the body slam, so they're no doubt going to take us out of a play rough. But we've got the Nidoqueen. They do still have Wormadam Trash in the back, and it did look like we went too quickly on the switch there, and our timer went up, so we throw a Poison Fang to stall it, and just as they hit their move, we make a perfect swap into the Cofagrigus and soak the Iron Head, which would have done a nice chunk to us. Are we going to be able to farm down the trash all the way? We do, and the opponent bows out graciously, knowing that their game is well and truly up. So GG's to them, moving on into the next one. And we've got a Shadow Mawile on the lead, so it is the Fire Fang version and not Ice Fang, and we're going to be able to get up to a Shadow Ball nicely. And this is a pretty decent matchup for us. I think a Shadow Ball is definitely going to be taking them out, so they do make a swap now, banking all that energy, and they go into Mandibuzz. So we're going to bring in the Nidoqueen here. We could have come in with the Linoone, but because we're not resisting the fast move where they've got Air Slash, and we're going to be doing resisted fast move damage, we might as well just come in with the Nidoqueen just so it's a straight neutral matchup. And we're just going to lower their defense here, but they will be able to win this matchup in the no shield situation. So we're debuffing them again, and now they're going to go for another foul play. We're going to have to make the choice whether we want to actually keep the Nidoqueen alive and try and win the swap, but we don't. We're going to keep the shield advantage, and then we're going to come in with Cofagrigus, which is quite interesting, and we're going for a really ambitious farm down on the dark type with the resisted Shadow Claws. So we shielded up that foul play, and then my opponent makes a really good swap into the Mawile, which has got the stored energy, and then they bait us with Power Up Punch when I was worried that was going to be the Iron Head and take us out with our energy. So now we're going to go for a Shadow Ball, and of course they're going to shield it up, but we have got a lot of energy on the Cofagrigus, so we're going to be able to take them out with the next one. And then we're going to swap straight into the Linoone and see how this pans out. We've got a Dragalge in the back, so let's see who can win this one. We're going to be able to get up to a couple of body slams, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough to take the Dragalge out. It's pretty tanky, does quite a nice amount of damage, and we let through that Dragon Tail there, which is definitely going to cost us. We may have been able to get up to another body slam, but I'm not sure, to be honest. I think they probably still would have beaten us. We've got a little bit of health left on the Cofagrigus, see if we can farm them down, but they do make a clever swap out into the Mandibuzz, and that's definitely going to seal our fate, and that's well played by my opponent there to take the win. And let's get into another one, and this one we've got a Golbat on the lead, so something a bit different. And this is a pretty neutral matchup. We're going to be able to take them out with a Psychic, but they're going to be able to hit us back with a Shadow Ball, so we're going to shield this up. And it's actually an Air Cutter, so that's really random. You don't really see that move too often. So they kind of baited us there, I think, because I think that's a lower energy move. I've got to be honest, I don't know, because no one uses it, because it's trash, I believe. So anyway, I'm going to shield this one up, and now it's a Poison Fang. So they're going Poison Fang Air Cutter, so really, really interesting moveset, and certainly something that I was not expecting at all. So they let it go down. We did double shield, which was quite an interesting play by us as well. Probably thought that they baited us and they were going to hit us with Shadow Ball, but then they actually didn't even have it. So in comes a Primarina, we go for the Shadow Ball. They did shield it up, which is really decent for us, because we're going to come in with the Nidoqueen. Worried they're going to get to a Hydro Pump, which they were no doubt going for, but it's going to take a lot of charms, and we get to the Poison Fang before they get to it. And now they're going to come in with their own Nidoqueen. And we were going to go straight for the Earth Power, but we tried to catch in case they were going to win CMP. But I don't know if you saw, the box was flashing up where I was hitting it, but nothing happened, and I threw another Poison Jab. So that was a complete glitch by the game there. I'm not going to go back and stop it, but you can go back and have a look if you want. I definitely was spamming the switch button, and the game decided not to switch out. Luckily for us, the Linoone, I think, will be able to close this out, because the body slams do hit hard. Look at how much damage that did, and we're definitely going to be able to take the win with the Dark Raccoon. Once again, that's another nice one. Cleaning up that Nidoqueen at the end there, holding its own in the Halloween Cup. So we're going into the next one, and we've got Quillfish on the lead. So this is pretty decent for the Cofagrigus. We're going to be able to one-shot this thing with a Psychic, but they are going to be able to out-spam us at an extreme rate. So they go for the first Aqua Tail. Looks like we can take 3. So we're trying to sneak through Shadow Claws here. This is the main game, and we do sneak one through, so that's really nice for us. So now we're going to go for that Psychic. Kind of wary they were going to try and make a catch at one point, but they are staying in. So no doubt they're going to shield this up. And we're just about one Shadow Claw away from getting to another one, and I think we did sneak it through once again, so that's really nice for us. And they do make a swap into Wormadam, which is fine. We're now going to actually go for a Shadow Ball and do some nice damage to this, because we're going to need some help to actually get it out of here. We're going to come in with the Linoone now. Obviously, a Body Slam is going to be resisted. So is the Gunk Shot. So we're just going to try and... Oh my god, they hit us with a Bug Buzz. We did not respect that at all. I didn't know the counts for the confusion for Bug Buzz, and I didn't think they'd done enough, but I was obviously miscounting there completely, and they absolutely decimated us with that Bug Buzz. But we were able to hang on still, just because the confusions were double resisted. We're coming now with the Nidoqueen, and we're Poison Jab down, and let's see what they've got in the back for us. They bring in a Wigglytuff, so now things are looking quite positive. We're going to be able to munch this Wigglytuff before it even gets to a move. So we throw that Poison Fang already into the red. They quickly make a swap now into the Quillfish. We've got a load of energy to go, so we go for that Poison Fang bait, really hoping they shield it up. They do shield it up, so that's perfect. And now we're just going to go for another one, which is quite interesting. We're not actually going to build up to the Earth Power. We're just going to swap out into Cofagrigus. Now we've lowered their defense. They were easily taken out by some Shadow Claws. We've got a shield left, and the opponent knows that they've completely mucked it up. And we take the win again. GG's. And into the final battle of the video we go. Thank you so much if you're still here. I really, really appreciate it. If you've enjoyed these battles, please smash the like button and leave a comment. I really, really, really appreciate all the feedback that you give me in these early days of the channel. So into the last one, we had Shadow Gardevoir on the lead, so that was quite interesting to see. And they did shield up the Shadow Ball, and then they swapped out into a Frostlass, so they obviously didn't really have an answer to the Cofagrigus. And now we're going to make a swap into the Linoone, and we're going to be able to snarl them down the whole way. Going to eat an Avalanche, which we take quite comfortably. Unfortunately, they're able to get to another one, which was really unexpected. I wasn't counting properly there. Probably should have just thrown the Body Slam, because now we're down 2 shields. We're down 1 shield, and then a ton of lag. Finally, the Frostlass goes down. We knew they were going to bring back in the Gardevoir and try and quickly snipe us. So we got off that Body Slam, and it did take us out with 1 charm, which is disgusting. We come back in with the Nidoqueen, and they've got Sharpedo in the back. But even though they are devastating us with the waterfalls, they've got to respect the Poison Fang. That is going to take them out. So now we make a swap into Cofagrigus that has the Shadow Ball stored. Doesn't matter that it's resisted. Anything will take out the Sharpedos. It's made of glass. That's the end of the video. Thank you so much. Stay angry, trainers.